I'm Katherine Ryan. Welcome back to the Sarah O'Connell Show.
Welcome to the Sarah O'Connell Show.
Katherine Ryan, welcome back to the Sarah O'Connell Show. How are you today?
I'm very well today. Today's turning into night, so I've got like a real moonlight on my face.
It's nice. It's very atmospheric.
Thank you.
For your record-breaking now 5th appearance on my show.
Am I the record breaker?
You are indeed.
Yes. That's just because I always want to be on it. It's not because you've asked me the most, is it?
You've almost been on here as much as I have, which is very impressive. So it's very exciting to have you on my show today because you are the executive producer, you are the writer, and most importantly, the star of the brand new sitcom, The Duchess. I've got to say, I've watched it now, the entire series, twice. I absolutely love it. It's very, very funny. I laughed throughout. I cried on one particular scene, and I just flipping love the whole thing.
Well, I'm so glad you like it. I'm just trying to give a bit more light. The kitchen light went off. Hang on one second. Better. So glad, yeah. Well, or worse. Better or worse. So glad you like it. I think that it's the kind of show that I think I made for women our age. I included boy bands. I think we grew up when that real British boom of boy bands, girl bands. I'm aware that it will also make a lot of people pretty angry. That's already started. Just people who don't want to see an unlikable woman win. I think they don't mind an unlikable woman if she's damaged or she's messy or she's losing, but when she wins, they don't. Some people are pretty pissed off.
Well, that's good, and I love to see it because the show's a lot of fun and lots of people are going to love it too. So for the uninitiated, what is The Duchess about?
The Duchess is about a fashionably disruptive single mom who's like an extension of my stage persona. She has one child. That's the central mother-daughter relationship. And she wants to grow her family. And she's trying to think about the smartest way to do that. But I don't think she's very smart.
We chatted all the way back in 2016 and you'd spoken about previously writing TV treatments and ones for movies too. When did the idea for The Duchess first come about? Were you thinking about it all the way back then or was it more in recent years?
I think I was really reaching for fiction. The last time you and I spoke, I thought, well, I'll do a show about golf or I'll do a sitcom about my time working at Hooters. And that was in my past. And then golf was just this idea because I thought, oh, well, that'll be a man's world, but a woman working in that industry is very much like comedy. And then with The Duchess, just accidentally, I pitched the idea of a central mother-daughter relationship and a problematic, narcissistic woman, which is the closest thing to me. So I think I'd made a mistake being creative before. Just write what you know.
Absolutely. And of course you have 2 amazing Netflix specials already on Netflix. And I think you spoke to Netflix in like June 2019 about to pitch the idea of The Duchess. At that point, did you just have like an overview of what the show would be about, or had you written some of the scripts? Had you filmed anything?
I hadn't written any of the script. I was touring, or I was actually in the early phases of my latest Netflix special, Glitter Room, and they had seen that. I was in LA with my managers there, and I was going around to different networks, not just Netflix, during pitch season, talking about what I might do. And Netflix were my first choice. They connected with the idea the most too. And they just said, all right, we will commission a pilot. That's usually how they work. They go, I like this idea about a woman maybe having a baby with her ex, maybe not, maybe boyfriend. Yeah, that's interesting. Go write a pilot. And I wrote the pilot. They gave me some notes on it, and then they liked it and commissioned it from there. So I sold the idea just on a conversation, and then they wanted to see some writing after that. And then it was properly commissioned.
How long did it actually take? So there's 6 episodes. How long did that take you to write?
100 years. I was doing it kind of in conjunction with other projects. I was either touring or filming with Jimmy Carr, just doing things. So it was difficult to set aside the time to really focus. And then, I mean, lockdown would have been a great time. I should have written series 2 by now, but I haven't. I think it took several months, probably 8 months on and off. So I wasn't working steadily, but Yeah, it takes a long time to get it right. And I had to present scripts to producers and digest notes. And that was a big adjustment for me because working in comedy, you're all alone, as you know, all alone. Nobody really gives you notes and you put the blinders on for criticism. And with this, I had to open up and receive a lot of those notes. And that was a real period of growth for me, Sarah.
So it's very much a collaborative process, writing scripted comedy for television versus on stage.
It is. We didn't have a writer's room or anything. I just wrote it
Yeah.
myself, but then I'd have to go back and write it again, and you have to delete so much, and it was really different. But it's the same logic to being a stand-up. Our friend, Roisin Kennedy, who did Game Face, she was really positive. She said, don't let anyone make you think you can't write a sitcom, because if you can write an hour narrative stand-up show, you instinctively know where the beats are, where the punchlines go, where the softer bits come. And she was right. I mean, it's not that dissimilar.
And where did the title, The Duchess, come from? Did you have that from the beginning when you had the idea for the show, or did it come sort of later on? And was it called anything else during filming?
I wanted to call it Plus One because Violet in my life was always my plus one. I'd go on holidays with her. I'd go to restaurants with her. I felt like she was my little plus one. But I think a lot of films and TV shows have already used that title. There's a lot of legal stuff behind what you can call your show. And I think also Netflix didn't really like it. It didn't vibe with them. They thought, well, let's try again. Then I came up with a list of probably 40 names that didn't really hit. And it was my agent, Kitty, and I were in a drag bar in Soho. And Kitty's really fun. Have you met Kitty?
I've not met her, but we've spoken online a lot. And
yeah, you must have even on Instagram seen her. She's really fun. And she was just had a drink in her hand. And she was like, how about the Duchess? And I thought, the Duchess? And my friend Joe Lycett at the time was calling himself the Duchess now and then. Meghan Markle was coming into our lives. I thought, the Duchess is very interesting. I asked Joe if he minded. He said he did not. And Netflix loved the Duchess. And so it just became the Duchess. And I think it's such a fitting title. I think it says to international audiences right away that this is British, high status. And I think there's a fun spin on it too, because we've learned from Meghan Markle, she's so outspoken and really disruptive in the right way. And to be a Duchess, you can't be like that. You have to be quiet and calm and wear tights.
Exactly. And so let's talk about your character. So it's kind of a semi-autobiographical, I guess, but it's more an extension of your stage persona. Is that correct? And obviously your character in the show isn't a stand-up comedian, regular pottery.
Yeah, they didn't want her to be a stand-up comedian, and that was fair enough. I wanted to find a career that was at home, the way I'm at home a lot for stand-up comedy, that was creative and that was feminist. And I follow a lot of potters, and I have a lot of art in my own home. Anissa Kermish makes really beautiful, like different feminine, different, real body positive, different shapes of the female form. And then there's a really good Glaswegian artist. Her Instagram is Pot Your Tits Away Love. And I loved her. She makes little ones in all different shapes and sizes, mastectomies, like different skin tones. I just think it's really inclusive, really great work.
Fantastic. And let's talk about the casting. Your daughter in the show, Olive, is amazing. Was there like a massive search to get the right person, especially for her, because she's so pivotal to a lot of the storylines?
Yeah, I mean, they organized a lot of girls to come in. I shouldn't say many. There weren't many, but there were a few that were coming in. But Kate Byrne was the first one that I saw. And I just thought she had such a calm, mature, knowing energy. And she looked so exquisite on film, like a little Greta Thunberg. I don't know if she likes that comparison. She just this like luminous little British face. Yeah. I loved her. And I thought we had chemistry. She also looked like Rory Keenan, who plays Shep. I just really got on with her. We improv'd a little bit in the audition. And I loved Kate. And then I saw other girls after that who were equally excellent. This is the trouble with child acting, is you have to say no to children who are so talented. You know, there was no reason not to choose them. They were great. but there was a certain something about Kate that I connected with right away.
And I loved all of the interactions with Olive's dad, Rory Keenan, is it?
Yes.
There's a lot of scenes that I guess are sort of played quite seriously, but they're really, really funny. Did you sort of break down laughing a lot while you were doing that with these incredible actors you're working with?
Yeah, it was really funny. It's difficult when you do a scene a few times to remember how ridiculous it really is, because we were in this fight. He's such a brilliant actor. He
Yeah.
has a real background in drama. He's in Peaky Blinders. He's got a real rich stage background. Rory's so talented, but I'm just a stand-up. So we're saying these things to one another. He'd be calling me. We tried to use like terms, like insults that weren't gendered as well, because I think
Right.
women get called like crazy bitch, fat crazy bitch. Like we don't have many terms, but I like to be called a motherfucker, and I like to be called a prick, and I think those insults are funny, and we'd be so much in the fight, and I think to myself, this is so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous, and we'd have a laugh. Yeah.
And of course, Steam Raskopoulos is in that, and I was very surprised to see a cameo from Jeff Norcott.
Yeah, Jeff Norcott and I are really good friends. And I love for Jeff to look at my work, often a bit of stand-up that I'm writing or a panel show appearance or even the Duchess. Friends will ask each other, will you take a look at this? What do you think? And Jeff really responded to the Duchess. He really loved it. And there was a part, I mean, it's a silent part, but it's a very important part. Jane's husband, Brian, I wanted him to be silent. I didn't want that character to speak, because I think we see so many women on screen who are just an accessory, and they have no agenda, they have no needs. They just come in to the frame and out again. And even in really important roles,
Yeah.
in big films, the women are inconsequential to the story. So I wanted to do a man that was just for decoration. And that's what Jeff is. And I think secretly he is the Duchess.
Yeah.
He's
Well,
poised.
Jeff is primarily eye candy in any situation. That's what he's there for. He's set dressing.
He is exactly that.
I see him quite often, so I'm going to retract that. The show deals with stuff like co-parenting, fertility, growing up, all that kind of good stuff. Do you think the comedy is a really great way of tackling these kind of subjects and talking about them, because they're often not discussed?
Yeah, I always try to Trojan horse some social issues into my stand-up, the things that I'm passionate about and I believe in. It's difficult to do it in a way that is meaningful and poignant, but first and foremost is funny. I think my goal is always to be funny and then never to disparage any vulnerable group. You know, I think I like empowering people, uplifting them. And I hope I got to Trojan horse a little bit of that in, here and there, in and amongst the vicious insults from Rory. Yeah.
You've done a ton of acting before. You've been in episodes and Campus and Dame Patty's Sunny D. You were so good in this. Is this sort of whetted your appetite, if you like, to do a lot more acting in the future?
No, I I don't know why. I don't know how you can act all the time.
Yeah.
I can pull it off maybe just about, and thank you for saying that, because I'm playing a stage persona that I've played now for a decade. I sort of know how to do her,
Right.
but I'm no Judi Dench. I don't think I could ever be in any dramatic role. Dane Baptiste very kindly put me in his series, and that was again playing a real spiky bad, playing a villain. I think I can maybe do that, but episodes I was basically cut out of. I was meant to have a much bigger role than I ended up having, but when I booked the job, I was really excited, and I went out and had my eyebrows done for the first time, like dyed.
Yeah.
And went in for the job, and if you dye your eyebrows because you're blonde, the first day that you do it, they're so dark.
Mm-hmm.
So I have these big black angry Maggie Simpson nemesis baby eyebrows. And David Crane and Jeffrey Clarick, who are two very important people in television,
Yeah.
they were looking at me, and they had the iPad of my audition on it, and they said, "Why don't you look like this? What happened? Why?" And men, I feel like they can't figure out eyebrows.
Mm.
They don't get it. Do you ever have it where you show up without your eyebrows penciled in, and then a man somewhere, like, he doesn't know what is wrong with your face? That It was definitely the eyebrows, and they just pushed me to the back of every scene. It was fair enough, but I'm hardly in episodes. And that is a testament to what a terrible actress I am.
I completely disagree.
Yeah.
You're honestly so good in The Duchess. So my understanding is you were filming for around about 9 weeks. Is that correct?
3 months.
What were your favorite scenes to film?
I actually loved getting into the Hampstead Heath ponds with Michelle de Swart. I was really terrified because we imagined the show to be beautiful spring London, and we put all the outfits to reflect that, and we wanted to really showcase London. And I wrote a scene where we get in Hampstead Ponds, but that turned out to be like November, and it was so
Wow.
cold. But it was really amazing. I know so many tough, mostly older women who do winter swimming. I don't know what it's called, but you feel limitless when you get out of that water. Cold water does something to your body and your brain. I really recommend it. And now sometimes at the end of my shower, I turn it cold just to be like, oh, it was a real revelation. Cold swimming. Love it.
Which brings me on actually to, did you do your own stunts in the show? Because you dived into the water yourself.
No, I didn't. I wanted to do all my own stunts.
Yeah.
I had a professional, cold water swimmer to do that because they didn't want me to dive in and get my hair and makeup ruined, and then we wouldn't be able to film for a long time. But there was another stunt that was cut from the show, and that is where I biked around on a big petty bus near Buckingham Palace with my bum out. And I was really excited to do that. And they cut it. No one wanted to keep that in. It was unanimously vetoed. So
It's a lovely tribute to the palace.
I thought so.
Yeah.
Great. It was a really beautiful scene, but nope, that's gone. So I was not all powerful in The Duchess. I was overruled from time to time.
Outrageous. Now, the show is rated 15. There is an intimate sex scene early on in the series. Was that kind of uncomfortable to film? Were there loads of people in the room? What was that like? I hear you nearly ran out.
Yeah, I'm going to need like aggressive therapy. I was speaking to my therapist about it, and she said that sometimes, and this is useful to know in your life, intellectually, you believe that you can do things. And I think a lot of people have this with public speaking. They say, yeah, I can write a speech and I can deliver it in front of my classroom or my office, whatever.
Right.
And then even though intellectually you feel like you can do something, when you get in the moment, your central nervous system is there to protect you. And it goes, whoa, no, what are you doing? This is weird. This is not what we do. This is not safe. And then your heart starts pumping and you're afraid, and your body goes, don't do this. And your brain's like, it's okay, body, I got this. And your body's like, no, you don't. Let's get out of here. That's definitely what happened during the sex scene. I wrote it. I felt like it was important to include that sex scene so that there was believability with the relationship. They had intimacy, but no. I did not like that. And there were lots of people in the room, not that many. They're very sensitive about how they film these things.
Yeah.
They have really good health and safety, like consent people on set. There's a whole extra contract you have to sign for any nudity. And this is with every television network now. They're really
I have it on my show too.
Yeah. Yeah. If Jeff Norcott's ever on, I'll let him know.
Basically, yeah, we have 2 cameras, one up top and one down below the Jeff.
Yeah. I can't fault them. They were perfect, but in my actual bloodstream, I was like, get out. It was really scary and I wanted to leave, but I did it. And then I'll never do it again.
Now, I must say to you, the show looks beautiful. From the fashion to the sets to the lighting, everything is gorgeous. What do you attribute to that?
Jen, my stylist, Jennifer Mahalski-Bray, and my makeup artist, Fiona Eustace, we worked together to make the hair and makeup and the costumes really beautiful for Katherine, but then also the real star, the true genius, Toby McDonald, our director. He does such beautiful work. Oh, I wish I could tell you the name of the film I saw. It's called All the Boys, or it's like a film starring Alex someone who's in The End of the Fucking World. You know films, you'll know this. I'm going to find out. Pause. Hello, Sarah O'Connell show audience. Wait 1 minute. This interlude, just talk amongst yourselves. I have to find this out for you. Alex Lothar. Okay. Alex Lothar. I just have to find this out for you. Otherwise, I'm going to be calling you later to tell you. It's really important. He's been in. Nope. Oh, filmography. Here we go. There is a film. Old Boys.
Yes.
Old Boys is a 2018 film starring Alex Lothar, directed by Toby McDonald. This is big film in France. For some reason, it did very well. The French loved it. I saw Old Boys, and it was so beautiful. Toby just understands like cinematic lighting and everything and composition. And we were so lucky to get him because I don't think he's traditionally just a comedy director. I think sometimes with comedy direction, the focus is on the jokes, the budgets are different, and we were so lucky to get just this visionary, and he made it beautiful. And then he hired a DOP called Carl Oskarsson from Iceland, and he made it all beautiful too. So we were just so lucky to get those two.
Yeah, but it looks really cinematic, which is another thing that really struck me when I was watching it.
That's what I wanted. I wanted it to look like a rom-com, a beautiful rom-com, but be a real comedy.
Now, obviously, a lot of films and TV shows, when they're filming, they'll do multiple takes or something. Now, I don't want to explain how the scene comes about or spoil it in any way, but can you tell me how much grapefruit and pepper you ate?
Oh my gosh, so much grapefruit. I was really sick the next day. Grapefruit is a really great cleanse. If you want to eat 9 grapefruits, 9 whole grapefruits, you should do it. And you will be fully, what's the word? Alkaline. Fully alkaline. I never want to see another grapefruit again.
Are you so much alkaline that you can write like chalk on the wall with your hand? So that's kind of what happens.
It was mad for probably a week. Yes, I could have tried that. I ate so much grapefruit. I wrote the scene not really understanding how much grapefruit I would have to eat. Never write a scene where you have to do anything a little bit uncomfortable because you're going to have to do it 100 times. What I've learned is if I write series 2, it will be Katherine in a full body cast, wheels up to her balcony in Spain and says 2 lines and then goes back to bed. No more outfit changes, no more strappy heels, no more grapefruit, no more sex.
It's a very good idea.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, if I wrote a show, I'd do the whole thing in Hawaii and very relaxed.
Yeah, I should.
Now, I love the soundtrack too. The music throughout is really great, but there's also a few original songs in there. Did you write those?
Ooh, no, I wish I had. There is a wonderful man called Ollie who did all of our music, and he created a lot of the original music because there's some formula of commercial and original that Netflix decided they wanted, and we were so great to get Ollie. I wish I'd written those. No.
They're a lot of fun anyway. And so obviously it's a collaborative process making a show like this. How close to your original vision was it, the finished filmed result? Did you have to sort of fight to keep some scenes in?
It was very close to my original vision. I think it was, well, it's funny with me. I do forget things very quickly. I'm lucky that I move on from any loss. If I fought to keep things in and they weren't in, apart from the bum, I don't really remember. I think Clark and Well Productions here in London did a great job of keeping the story moving in a lucid direction. They kept a lot of the emotion alive because I've seen a lot of beautiful sitcoms that have a lot of drama as well. And I enjoy those tremendously, but I don't always have the emotional energy to feel that way. Sometimes I just want to watch The Office and unwind. Sometimes I want to watch Selling Sunset just because it has tasteful interiors. I find that relaxing. But I'm glad that there was emotion kept in, and there's heart and there's warmth where you might not expect those things from me. So it was exactly, I couldn't have pictured it better now. It's as good as I can imagine.
The scene in the hair salon really got me.
Oh, did you
personally.
go to see for a haircut? It's awful, isn't it?
I know.
And it's not just the haircut. That's, I think, an experience in everyone's life. Like, you take your child for the haircut, and some of the salons have the baby chair, the little car. Violet wanted to sit in there, and I hate that we're hurried along to become grown so quickly. And the woman's like, no, you're a big gal. And I thought, little girls have so much time to be women. And it's so complicated, isn't it, when you get to be like grown? Let them play. And that broke my heart. She put her little hands on the wheel and was like, hated that.
Yeah, it's very emotional. Lucy once, we were in a shop and she wanted a beanbag that had these cartoon characters on it. It was a few years ago too. And a sales assistant came up and said, oh, there's plain ones over there if you want them. And she just wanted the one with the cartoon characters on it.
Do you know, I hate that. And as a parent, it doesn't really matter what you say after that, because the world comes in and that's the narrative. I'm glad you connected with that. Did you get her the cartoon one in the end?
Well, obviously, yeah.
Good.
So I must ask you, in a lot of shows, there's outtakes. Might that be something you'll release in the future?
Yeah, that would be great, actually, because we did a wrap party when we finished filming last December, and they played a few minutes of outtakes at the wrap party, and it was actually so funny and really sweet and heartwarming. Kate Byrne, the little Olive, did some funny things with Rory. It's so cute. I love outtakes. I'm like you, that is my fave. I hope they include that. There's no reason why they couldn't. It would be so sweet. I would love to see that.
Got an idea too, if you'd like it.
Yep.
Would you consider doing an audio commentary via your podcast, and then people can have both playing simultaneously, double money?
That's really smart.
Right?
But do I have to give you money?
Yes.
Okay. And then does Netflix do they have to tell us we're allowed, or can we do this independently?
It's probably fine. I think you can talk about anything in another medium, can't you? Like, someone could theoretically play this and have the show on at the same time. So they could also play your podcast and have that on at the same time. It's complimentary, it's advertising, and it gives more insight into the show as well.
But the trouble is, then I have to watch it, and I don't really watch myself. I had to watch it a lot during the edits because I was involved. I feel like I've seen it a lot. I do like it, but there is the sex scene in it, 2 sex scenes in it. I'm out.
That's fine. I'll release one instead then. We'll get it done. I'm the exact same way. I always release the show without watching it. Like, when I'm editing it, I'm just like, can't do it.
I worry about people who really want to watch themselves over and over. It's like wanking into a mirror. What are you doing?
You can only do that so many times because
Exactly.
Have you got any ideas for a series too, if we're lucky enough to be blessed with one, and where your character might go in the future?
Yeah, I think that her story is just beginning, because she's made a decision and she went for it. And I would love to see the fallout, because it is an unconventional decision. Potentially there will be people who disagree with Catherine's decision, but I would love to see Shep emboldened by the love of a good woman just reunite with Trussay, do a cruise ship tour. I love Trussay. I love boy bands. I want to see more from Trussay. I want to see Olive, because you and I know as parents of little girls that they grow up in a flash. And I think if we rejoined the family, Olive might be goth. She might be teenager, might be naughty all of a sudden. We don't know where Olive would go. And I think Katherine would find herself in a whole new host of interesting, unusual problems.
Now, I need to congratulate you too. Your podcast, it's the only podcast I listen to genuinely.
Really?
Yeah, no, it really is. And you got to #1 in the iTunes comedy charts. Congratulations. I think there's been about 21 episodes so far. Anyone that hasn't heard it yet, what's the podcast about? Why should they be tuning in?
Well, it's called Telling Everybody Everything, but you can just put my name and then it should come up. I haven't done one for 2 weeks and the people are furious. So I need to record one probably tonight or tomorrow. I've really been doing a lot of Duchess stuff and I've let it slide. And this is how I found out that so many people listen to my podcast. When they revolt, you hear from them. I talk about a variety of things. I rang a girl from high school and asked her about God because she is very interested in prayer. I always want to hear different perspectives from people. I talk about everything from Kanye West, Ellen DeGeneres, to pregnancy loss, old stories from my childhood, the time I was targeted by an inflatophiliac, cancel culture, my grandma. I mean, it's all in there.
And it's a lot of fun too. And the thing is too, I don't exercise enough to listen to more than one podcast. It's just not possible. I don't have the time in my life.
Good, and it's a short podcast for your exercise, so you're welcome.
Now you're going to be playing, or you've played, perhaps you may have already filmed it, starring as Joan Rivers in Urban Myths for Sky Arts.
Yeah.
So that's coming soon, right?
That is coming, I think, any day. I filmed that with Jessica Barden, whom I love and admire as an actor. She's an example of, a true talented actor. And I was so thrilled to be alongside her. She's playing Barbara Streisand, and I was playing Joan Rivers, who I love. I've always respected Joan. Joan was a problematic figure from time to time as well. She had to be very disruptive to forge a career that she did at the time that she did, with a daughter. I mean, she was glamorous. We're not that different, Joan and me.
I'm very much looking forward to seeing it. And you're also going to be hosting All That Glitters, a BBC Two talent search for the UK's best jeweler.
Yeah, I thought, oh, that's a funny time to be doing jewelry. Is it untouchable, the world of jeweler? I thought it was just children of rich people who got to jewelry design, but it isn't that way. There are apprenticeships where a lot of British jewelers from all over the country got into it because it's a real viable pursuit after school. You don't always have to go to university. You can do plumbing, electricity. Jewelry has fire and banging and molding, and it's so much more than what I thought it was. It's such an interesting journey for me.
Absolutely. And at the moment, there's lots of shows that can't film because they can't get audiences and stuff like that. What have you got coming up? Will there be any more roast battle? Might we see your face mask or mine?
That would be so good, wouldn't it? Your face mask or mine? I'm not sure. I think Comedy Central have been making some internal changes. I've seen a lot of announcements about shows moving, and I don't know that we will be doing more of those things. I have appeared on a few shows. It's so exciting to leave the house and go to a studio. Jonathan Ross is doing a new show where he's showcasing circuit comedians who might not have access to, income from a TV career. They're the ones truly, truly displaced by the pandemic. Their industries just come to a standstill. So what I really want to do is get out touring again. And I really hope that can be sooner than later, but it seems like there was just an announcement that we're moving backwards. So I don't know.
Yeah, I know. Audiences of 6 or something. So I think you're listed as doing something like next February, like a stand-up event?
Yes, we feel very confident that we can do stand-up to large crowds next February. And I really hope that doesn't change.
So do I. I'm very keen to go outside and do stuff.
Me too.
Have you ever considered writing a book?
Yes, I have considered writing a book. I would love to write a book. I think the podcast has really shown me that I thought I could only do short form, like joke, punchline, panel shows, stand up. But the Duchess is more long form. And then the podcast, again, they're like 10 hours of chat about things from my life, but advice. And I think that I would love it if my purpose was to help other people achieve their purpose. I love giving advice, unsolicited, solicited, whatever. I think I've learned a lot in my short time on earth, and I would love to share that with a funny book. I'm going to think about the best way to do that.
Yeah, I'd love to read it. And of course, then you could do an Audible book as well.
Yeah, I love the long form stuff. I feel a lot more confident about it now. I didn't think I could hold anyone's attention for more than a few minutes.
Oh, you evidently can.
Yeah, well, maybe.
Now, tell me a fun fact about you, something we may not know. It could be a party trick, a hobby, anything you do in your spare time.
I think because of the podcast, telling everybody everything. People know everything about me. I mean, I wonder if you could see it on podcast. No, you can't see it on your thing. I have a really interesting hole in my throat. That's the only body trick that I can show on video, but I don't think the quality of the video is good enough. Like, you know how you have one hole in your throat?
Yeah.
I sort of have two.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. I'm from a small town. When I had my tonsils removed, that might have been a doctor. It might have been the bin man. I don't know who did that, but I did not sue. I just have two holes in my throat. I don't think people know that. Yeah, people don't know that about me.
Huh. That's very interesting. And are you sort of aware of that when you breathe or eat and stuff?
Not at all. Let me see if you can see it. You probably can't.
Sure.
That's too much light.
Oh, wow, yeah.
You did. You could see
Yeah, I could see it.
Cool, right?
Amazing. Does that go like all the way through to your ear, or?
No, it just goes down to like my throat. You're gonna get the weirdest fetish like following. It's a very niche fetish.
You're going to own that market.
Yeah, exclusive.
The Duchess is out on Netflix on the 11th of September. I'm very excited for everyone else to see it. I've already watched the entire series twice because it occurred to me that I could watch it more than once, which was great. Everyone else will get to too. Finally, have you got any messages for people watching the Sarah O'Connell Show and your fans around the world?
I think I would encourage people watching the Sarah O'Connell Show and my fans around the world to always be listening, learning, asking questions, be tolerant, be helpful. You can be a badass sometimes, but it's the most important thing you can do is protect the vulnerable, whether that be your lovely daughter Olive, or just a puppy, or just someone you see who needs a hand.
It's very good advice. Katherine Ryan, thank you so much for coming back on my show. I love the Duchess. I love you, and I wish you every success with it.
I love you, Sarah. Thanks for the fifth audience with you.
You're very welcome, and I'm very much looking forward to the next one.
You need an extra hole in your throat.
I do. I realize that now. I'm gonna go look that up.
To help you talk longer.
Yeah. So gotta get some Botox, fillers, hole in my throat.
Yeah.
I did have surgery on my throat in South Korea, and they actually made the hole in my throat smaller.
Oh, really?
Yes, which was fun.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
I learned a lot from that. I mean,
that was fun. I couldn't speak for 2 months. It's the only time everyone I know has been happy.
Did you learn a lot in that time, though, being silent?
I learned how to answer the phone, and I got this app so I could like type and it would speak for me and stuff, and I got quite good at just indicating things with my hands and communicating in various different ways, mostly swearing, but yeah, it was interesting.
I don't know why you didn't go on Oprah. There was a man who was quiet for a year, like a young student. I forget, I think he was like 19, and he just took a vow of silence for a year. This is back when we wouldn't have had the tools to communicate as well as we do now. But he got to go on Oprah. So if you had just held out for an extra 10 months.
Honestly, I think if people knew me, I would have got an award for that, not speaking for that long.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure your viewers are glad to have you back speaking again.
I'm sure they are. So, thank you again. Thank you to everybody watching at home. Be sure to share, subscribe, give this video a big thumbs up, and leave lots of lovely comments. Get over onto Netflix and watch The Duchess when it launches on the 11th of September. And I'll see you all again soon for another episode of The Sarah O'Connell Show. Bye.
It's the Sarah O'Connell Show.